You won't believe what my homeowners association tried last week. Picture this. You're in your living room, sipping coffee, when someone knocks and demands your house keys not for an emergency, but for an inspection. That's right, my HOA showed up out of nowhere, insisting I hand over my keys. When I refused, things escalated fast, and I ended up calling the police. Here's how it all unfolded. It was a sunny Tuesday morning in Willow Creek, Virginia. I'd taken the day off from my remote job to tackle laundry, pay bills, maybe stream a show. Around 10:15 a.m., a knock interrupted my quiet day. Expecting a delivery or a neighbor, I opened the door to find two familiar faces from the Willow Creek Estates HOA board. The president, Susan Mitchell, who fit the Karen stereotype perfectly, stood with a clipboard and a smug look. Beside her was Greg Turner, a quiet newer board member. Susan skipped pleasantries. "We're here to inspect your property. Please hand us your house keys," she said, her fake smile laced with authority. I blinked, sure I'd misheard. "My what?" "Your house keys," she repeated, her tone sharpening. "It's part of our new quarterly inspection policy." I'd lived in Willow Creek for 6 years, dealing with typical HOA nonsense, lawn height rules, mailbox colors, trash can schedules, but this was new. "I'm sorry," I said, staying polite. "There's no way I'm giving you my keys." Susan's smile vanished. "You agreed to HOA policies when you moved in." "Yeah, but I didn't sign away my privacy," I shot back. Greg spoke up. "It's just routine. We need to ensure everything's up to code." "What code?" I asked, irritation rising. "This isn't a rental. I own this home." "You're not city inspectors." Susan's face reddened. "We have legal authority under the HOA charter." "Then show me where," I said. "I'm not handing over keys without seeing it in writing." Susan rifled through her folder, thrusting a packet with highlighted sections at me. I scanned it, no mention of mandatory home access, just vague property standards language. "This doesn't say you can enter my home," I said. "It covers exterior inspections, not my living room." "That's illegal without a warrant or my consent." Susan, and used to push back, raised her voice. "If you don't comply, we'll fine you and pursue legal action." That's when I drew the line. Step 1 foot inside without permission, and I'm calling the police for attempted trespassing. Susan gaped, as if I'd insulted her legacy. "You're threatening to involve the police over a simple inspection?" "No," I said, "I'm promising it. You have no right to demand access." She raised her phone, announcing, "I'll call our legal counsel." "Great," I replied, pulling out my phone. "I'll call the police." And I did. The 911 dispatcher stayed calm despite the bizarre situation. I explained that 2 people were demanding my keys and threatening entry. "Stay inside," she said. "An officer's coming." I told Susan and Greg the police were en route. They looked rattled. Susan tried to backtrack. "No need to escalate this." "You escalated when you demanded my keys," I said. They retreated to my porch's edge, whispering, likely hoping the police wouldn't show. 15 minutes later, a Willow Creek squad car arrived. The officer, professional and composed, listened as I recounted the ordeal. Susan jumped in, claiming I'd agreed to HOA rules and was being combative. The officer reviewed her paperwork, then asked, "Do you have a warrant?" Susan faltered. "A what?" "A warrant," he repeated. "Without a court order or evidence of a crime, you can't force entry into a private home." Susan flushed. "We're not breaking in, we just want to inspect." "You don't have that right," the officer said. "This is private property." The homeowner said no. "That's final." He turned to me, asking if I wanted to file a complaint. I hesitated but wanted a record. "Yes," I said. Susan and Greg were ordered off my property. The officer escorted them to the sidewalk, watching them leave. After they left, the officer reassured me, "They can't demand access to your home. That's not how the law works." I thanked him, and he drove off. My heart still raced as I returned inside. That afternoon, I called a lawyer to confirm my stance. He verified the officer's words and advised sending a letter to the HOA, demanding they stop attempting unauthorized entry. I sent it via certified mail. Over the next few days, neighbors reached out. Susan had tried her stunt on others. Some caved, intimidated. Others resisted but hadn't gone as far as I did. A few thanked me for standing firm. At the next Willow Creek Estates HOA meeting, I showed up. Susan was unusually subdued. When residents questioned the inspection policy, she mumbled it was misunderstood. I stood. There was no misunderstanding. You demanded access to private homes with no legal right and tried to bully compliance. Several board members nodded. Murmurs of agreement spread. By the meeting's end, a motion to permanently remove the inspection clause passed overwhelmingly. Susan resigned 2 weeks later, her authority shattered. HOAs can be helpful for keeping neighborhoods tidy, but when they overreach, someone's gotta push back. Susan thought her clipboard and title gave her power. Maybe she thought we'd be too scared to say no. But this is America. You can't barge into someone's home because you're on a committee. I still live in Willow Creek. The grass stays green, mailboxes match, and rules persist, but a line's been drawn. No more surprise inspections, no more intimidation. Susan didn't expect it to blow up, but she learned you don't demand keys to someone's castle. If your HOA tries this, remember, you have rights. Know them, use them, and don't hesitate to make noise, even call the cops if needed. Sometimes, the only way to stop a bully is to stand firm. Today, Willow Creek feels freer, and my home is mine, keys and all.